One minute, it was raining. The next, California was underwater. Right now, entire neighborhoods are submerged. Rivers have burst their banks. Highways are shut down. People are being pulled from homes and cars in full-blown rescue operations. And it's only getting worse. This isn't your typical winter storm. It's something much bigger, much faster, and much more dangerous. California is being
If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Your feedback helps shape what we cover next, and you being here keeps the conversation going. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.
slammed by back-to-back atmospheric rivers, dumping relentless rain and triggering a chain reaction of chaos across the state. We're talking overflowing rivers, collapsed roads, widespread landslides, and power outages plunging thousands into darkness over Christmas. And here's the terrifying part, another storm system is already brewing offshore, carrying more water, more wind, and more destruction. This is not just a bad weather day. This is an escalating state emergency, fueled by a powerful, tropical moisture highway that meteorologists call atmospheric rivers. These storms are unleashing rainfall levels so extreme, the ground can't absorb it, the rivers can't hold it, and the infrastructure can't handle it. Entire counties are now under active flood warnings. Rescue teams are working non-stop, and the next 48 hours could be catastrophic. California's skies have opened up, and this is just the beginning. Atmospheric rivers are nothing new to California. They're responsible for the bulk of the state's annual rainfall. But what's happening now is not normal. These aren't just isolated showers. Two overlapping systems are pummeling the coast. One already hit land hard. The second one is gathering momentum over the Pacific and it's aimed directly at an already flooded state. This is the kind of weather that doesn't just inconvenience your holiday plans. It forces evacuations. It causes mudslides. It traps families inside their homes. Entire streets are now rivers. Underpasses are completely submerged. And in many places, emergency services can't even get through. Power lines are down. Roads are collapsing. Hillsides are sliding. From the Bay Area to Southern California, the situation is spiraling fast. Officials have upgraded flood watches into full-blown warnings. Some areas are now facing simultaneous threats of flash floods, hurricane-level wind gusts, blinding rain, and winter storms in the mountains, all happening at once. What we're seeing is an atmospheric disaster in motion, and the people living through it are running out of time. It's not just rainfall totals that are breaking records. It's the speed. It's the volume. It's the absolute saturation of the ground, which is now so soaked it can't take another drop. That's when flooding turns deadly. That's when mudslides pick up speed and debris flows crash into homes. And that's when officials start saying the words nobody wants to hear, life-threatening conditions. This isn't some freak, once-a-decade event. This is becoming a pattern, and experts are sounding the alarm. Atmospheric rivers are showing up more often, dumping more water in shorter periods, and hitting harder than ever before. Climate scientists are pointing to rising global temperatures as a factor. Warmer air holds more moisture. And when that moisture moves inland, you get what's happening right now. Two massive rivers of tropical moisture are colliding with the California coastline, one after the other. It's not a drizzle. It's not even a storm. It's an atmospheric pipeline capable of reshaping landscapes in real time. And California's not ready for it. The state's infrastructure is overwhelmed. Storm drains are failing. Levees are holding for now. But many of these systems were built for a different era. Delayed projects and outdated flood defenses mean that when a flood of this size hits, the water wins. That's exactly what's happening. Entire communities are underwater. Rural areas are being cut off completely. Urban centers, with their endless concrete and low-lying streets, are faring no better. Water is backing up into homes, parking garages, and basements. People are climbing onto rooftops, waiting to be rescued. In some areas, emergency teams are forced to navigate by boat. The chaos isn't limited to flooding. Hillsides scorched by past wildfires are collapsing under the pressure of relentless rain. Burn scars are unstable, and that makes them prime territory for devastating mudslides. It doesn't take much. Just a few inches of rain per hour, and some regions are seeing far more than that. In the mountains, snow is falling rapidly. But that snowpack, it's melting, too, fast. Add snowmelt to already overflowing rivers, and you've got a dangerous setup for flash floods, especially downstream. The water's moving fast, and it's not waiting for anyone to get out of the way. From the Central Valley to the coast, alerts are lighting up phones. Get out. Stay in. Don't drive. Don't wait. In some towns, evacuation isn't a warning, it's an order. Because once the water starts rising, the window to act shrinks fast. And if you're not already packed, you're probably too late. Right now, the roads are dangerous. The power grid is unstable. And the soil is so saturated that any additional rainfall, which is coming, could break the levees, flood homes, and wash out entire communities. And yet, the second storm system hasn't even fully arrived. Meteorologists are tracking a massive plume of moisture offshore, and it's heading straight for California. The fear is that it will bring even higher rainfall rates than the first system, at a time when the state is already stretched beyond capacity. If the forecasts are right, this could be one of the most severe flooding events in recent California history. And that's saying something. The scary part, this isn't just about 1 week or one disaster. What's happening now highlights a bigger problem. Because if atmospheric rivers are becoming more intense, and the evidence says they are, California will keep facing storms like this. Again and again. And every time, the damage gets worse, the cost goes up, and the systems meant to protect people fall further behind. California has long balanced droughts with floods, but the swings are getting more extreme. It's no longer a matter of if infrastructure will fail, but when. And when you're dealing with rain measured in inches per hour, every delay in action costs real lives, real homes, and real futures. For now, the priority is safety. Emergency crews are urging people not to underestimate what's happening. This isn't about being tough. It's about being prepared. If you live in a flood zone, evacuate early. If your area is under a warning, take it seriously. Because the floods aren't waiting. And as more moisture rolls in from the Pacific, California's flood crisis is entering its next phase. No one knows exactly how bad it will get. But we do know this, the conditions are ripe for disaster. The rivers are full. The hillsides are fragile. And the storm is far from over. California is experiencing a historic weather emergency. The footage is shocking, the science is clear, and the warnings are loud. This is a moment for urgent action, not only from residents protecting their homes, but from leaders who need to rethink how the state handles water, storms, and a changing climate. The storm isn't slowing down, and neither should the response. If you're watching this from a safe, dry place, stay informed. Check in on friends and family in California. Share updates, follow alerts, and know that this is more than a news story. For millions, it's real life. And if you're in the path of the storm, stay alert. Take precautions. Your safety comes first. Let us know in the comments if you're in one of the affected areas, or if you've ever experienced flooding like this. And for more updates on breaking weather events, climate chaos, and emergency coverage, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Stay safe, and we'll keep you posted. Let's be real, no one expected their Christmas weekend to involve sandbags, evacuation orders, or watching their street turn into a literal river. But that's exactly what's happening across huge parts of California right now. This isn't a freak rainstorm. It's a full-blown climate nightmare, served cold and soaking wet. Cities are scrambling. Rural towns are cut off. And the state, it's bracing for round 2, as another atmospheric river locks in on the coast. You'd think this would be a moment where the system kicks in alerts, response, infrastructure holding steady. But in reality, the system is crumbling. Flood control structures are maxed out. Storm drains are backing up across entire neighborhoods. And in some counties, the emergency response crews are saying flat out, they don't have enough resources to keep up. It's not about if something will go wrong, it's about how bad the damage will be when it does. And the worst part, the signs were there. Meteorologists have been tracking these atmospheric rivers. They warned of the moisture buildup. They forecasted rainfall rates that could easily overwhelm drainage systems. But when the rain started falling, California's infrastructure just couldn't keep up. Again? And let's not forget, this is happening on the heels of a year filled with climate extremes. California whiplashed from drought conditions to flooding in a matter of weeks. And now, with back-to-back storms slamming the state, it's clear, the weather isn't just unpredictable anymore. It's unmanageable. Atmospheric rivers are often described as rivers in the sky, long, narrow bands of moisture that transport water vapor across thousands of miles. Sounds poetic, right? But when those rivers crash into land, that poetic moisture turns into real devastation. And right now, California is getting hit with not one, but two overlapping systems. The first one already dropped inches in some places, feet of rain. The second is expected to bring even more. And here's what makes that so dangerous. The ground is already full, completely saturated. So every new drop just runs off straight into streets, homes, rivers, and low-lying communities. And that runoff, it's not just water. It's mud, debris, tree limbs, rocks, and anything else the current can pick up and move. Entire hillsides are giving way. Burn scars from past wildfires are collapsing. And roads, the ones still open, are one rock slide away from disappearing. Emergency shelters are opening across the state, trying to keep up with the rising number of evacuees. Some families have lost power. Others have lost access. And some, tragically, have already lost everything. This isn't just property damage. It's people displaced from their homes over the holidays, with more storms coming. The state's emergency services are stretched. Rescue teams are working in dangerous conditions, pulling people from floodwaters with barely any rest between calls. And as the rain continues, the risks just multiply. And here's the thing, it's not like any single agency can fix this. California's geography makes it especially vulnerable. Steep mountain ranges funnel water fast into valleys and basins. Cities, built on old floodplains, are boxed in by concrete and asphalt, which means water has nowhere to go. And the snow. Yeah, it's falling. But in the Sierra Nevada and higher elevations, warmer air is now melting that snow at the same time as rain is falling. That combination is flooding rivers faster than they can drain. And once rivers overflow, it's game over for anything in their path. Officials are begging people to stay home, stay off the roads, and follow alerts. But let's be honest, for a lot of people, those alerts come too late. When your phone lights up with a flash flood warning, and the water's already up to your knees, what are you supposed to do? That's why the warnings now are going out hard and early. Because when you've got saturated hillsides, rising rivers, and more moisture in the pipeline, it only takes one storm to push the entire system over the edge. And we're already halfway there. Communities built near rivers, creeks, or recent wildfire zones are in the most danger. These areas are seeing the worst of the mudslides and flash flooding. Entire roads have vanished under debris. Vehicles are being swept away. And in some places, all you can do is watch the water rise and hope help gets there in time. And while some Californians are packing go bags and watching flood alerts, others are waking up to scenes that look like something out of a disaster movie. Streets turned into lakes. Cars submerged up to the windows. People kayaking through neighborhoods. It's not dramatic, it's just the reality on the ground. And all of this during what was supposed to be a cozy holiday week. Instead of decorating trees, families are dragging wet belongings out of flooded garages. Instead of unwrapping gifts, they're sealing windows with duct tape and praying the levees hold. Meanwhile, meteorologists are tracking the next wave. It's swirling over the Pacific, pulling in warm moisture like a sponge. And it's headed straight for an already overwhelmed state. When it hits, which could be within hours, it could drop several more inches of rain fast. Officials are calling this an evolving, high-impact event. That's bureaucratic language for, we're in serious trouble, and it's far from over. And beyond the emergency response, this disaster is forcing California to confront some brutal truths. The state's water systems were never built for this. Many of its flood protections date back decades. And with climate patterns shifting rapidly, it's clear those systems need an upgrade yesterday. It's not just about the levees and the pumps. It's about planning where we build, how we prepare, and whether or not we take these atmospheric events seriously before they hit. Because by the time the water starts rising, it's already too late. The people on the front lines, the rescue teams, the meteorologists, the emergency planners, they've been sounding the alarm. But the scale of these storms is outpacing even the best preparation. And it's terrifying. If there's any silver lining, it's that more people are finally paying attention. Flood alerts are being taken seriously. Evacuations are happening earlier. And there's a push for better systems, not just to respond to disasters, but to prevent them in the first place. But that takes time. And time is the one thing California doesn't have right now. The clock is ticking. The next system is coming in fast. And the state is bracing for another wave of chaos. For now, all we can do is hope the warnings are loud enough, the evacuations are early enough, and the damage doesn't get any worse. Because the reality is, this storm isn't just rewriting California's holiday plans, it's rewriting its entire flood history. At this point, it's not even raining, it's pouring history. This storm system is setting a precedent, not just in inches of rainfall, but in the sheer volume of damage it's unleashing hour by hour. What's unfolding across California right now isn't just a storm story, it's a flood event that future emergency planning will be based on. And it's still happening in real time. The images coming out are shocking. Entire freeways underwater. Cars stacked like debris. Residential neighborhoods turned into chaotic water parks, except there's no fun, no safety rails, and definitely no lifeguards. Just rushing, brown water swallowing everything in its path. You can't overstate how fast it's happening. One moment the street looks wet. 10 minutes later, it's waist deep and moving fast. There are videos of people abandoning cars, wading through murky water with pets, children, groceries, anything they can carry. And when people say shelter in place, what they often mean is you're stuck. There's no way out. The roads are gone, and help might not get to you anytime soon. Local officials are overwhelmed. They're really trying, but it's hard to manage this many simultaneous emergencies. We're talking multiple counties underwater, power grids flickering out, and roadways collapsing into sinkholes. In some areas, they've already run out of road flares and caution tape. It's that bad. And still, the rain keeps falling. In mountain regions, the snow situation adds another terrifying layer. The snowpack, which should be building slowly over the winter, is instead being soaked by warm rain and melting far too quickly. That melting snow turns straight into runoff, which supercharges the flooding. It's like pouring gasoline on a fire, but colder and wetter. Meanwhile, flood alerts are lighting up across the state like a grim Christmas tree. Flash flood warnings, debris flow advisories, landslide alerts. And when all three hit the same region, that's when you get homes sliding off their foundations, streets collapsing under the weight of water, and entire communities cut off from the outside world. Some people are lucky enough to evacuate early. Others aren't so fortunate. In places with steep terrain, one blocked road is all it takes to trap people, especially in smaller towns with limited access points. Emergency helicopters are already being used in some areas. Not to monitor the damage, but to pull people out of it. And let's talk about the emotional toll. This should be a time for warmth, quiet, and connection. Instead, families are sleeping in gyms. People are spending their holidays in evacuation centers with only the clothes they could grab. And the worst part, no one knows when it will end or if they'll have anything left to go home to. The state has been through storms before, yes. But the scale and speed of what's happening now, this feels different. This feels like a shift. And meteorologists are already saying out loud that these kinds of atmospheric river events are becoming more frequent, more intense, and more unpredictable. Stay safe out there. Keep checking the alerts. And if you're seeing this from dry ground, send a message, lend a hand, or at the very least, don't look away. Like the video, drop a comment to share your thoughts or experience, and subscribe for real-time coverage as the situation continues to evolve. There's more coming, and we'll be here to help make sense of it all.